In the last video, I said we would hold off on talking about this until I was able to gather the crucial information necessary to discuss a sensitive topic like this that deals with culture and religion. So most of you guys have probably already seen this floating around online, but in Blackpink's How You Like That music video, during Lisa's rap scene, many people noticed that near the corner of the frame, you can see a statue of the Hindu god Ganesha. Just a brief bit of background and context, Ganesha is one of the most revered deities in the Hindu pantheon, often seen as the remover of obstacles and symbolizing wisdom, prosperity, and good fortune. Now, obviously, I can't go into all the details as people devote their lifetimes to understanding their religions and gods, and because of that, you can see why it would be upsetting to see a depiction of your god used as a prop or set dressing in a music video. But it's not just the fact that it appears in the video, it's also the circumstances surrounding it that is seen as disrespectful. Maybe the biggest factor is that it is said Hindus believe that these statues should always be placed on high surfaces and never on the floor, which we can't 100% tell, but it appears to be on the ground here, while Lisa sits on her throne visually above it. This brings up another important point. I don't think the anger was directed toward Lisa or Blackpink. People were more furious at YG Entertainment for allowing a religion to be used as aesthetics. The mass emails, tweets, and hashtags were all directed toward YG Entertainment, demanding this not only be acknowledged, but that they apologize to the community they have offended. Now, there were some who maybe not defended the decision, but tried to make sense of it, pointing out things like, perhaps the reason it was only present in Lisa's scene is because it's alluding to her Thai background, a country that is said to be over 90% Buddhist. For those who didn't know, Ganesha seems to also appear in Buddhism. Not only that, but it appears in the emblem for the Thai Department of Fine Arts, showing the prominent role it plays in the culture. But the argument to that seems to be that's all the more reason it shouldn't have been portrayed the way it was. And it seems like YG Entertainment may have agreed, because if you watch the music video now, that scene has been edited without announcing it or putting out a statement. The statue has been replaced, so it seems they may have gotten into contact with YouTube in order to edit the video without having to delete it or lose any of the views and analytics, which is really good for them because on top of doing really well on a bunch of charts, YouTube officially announced that Blackpink now have the biggest number of views within 24 hours. It's kind of interesting how the tables have kind of turned, because now we're seeing YG Entertainment stocks go up while JYPE Entertainment's name is being dragged through the mud online by fans. Now, while JYPE Entertainment has been praised for many things, at the same time, fans have also raised concern over mistreatment of some of their groups as well. But this really blew up yesterday when the complaint came from not a fan, but one of their artists, DAY6 Jae. So, fellow DAY6 member Junkee was featured on a podcast from Dive Studios. And while that one was promoted on DAY6's Twitter page, Jae pointed out that his appearance on the same podcast never was. But he didn't stop there. He also pointed out that he's done other podcasts and even collaborated with 88 Rising, all of which were never shared. On top of that, the YouTube channel that he worked so hard on all by himself, shortly after JYP told a news outlet the company and members solved the misunderstanding through talking, we'll be careful not to let this happen in the future. And the only thing it looked like they did at that point was add a new playlist for Jae on DAY6's YouTube channel. At the same time as their statement, Jae also came out and said, I just talked to the company again, and I think there were a lot of misunderstandings. I'd like to apologize for causing you concern with my writing. What I wanted to express was a personal matter between the company and me, and I didn't think it would be related to the members at all. But as some of you might have thought while reading this, a lot of fans didn't take this at face value and believe that his concerns are being silenced and that he was forced to say this. The example people used to back this up was DAY6 Jae seemingly being forced to apologize years ago. But that's not the only example being brought up. Now the concerns of other groups are also coming to light, like all the things GOT7 fans had to do for them because the company wouldn't. A similar situation with Bam Bam, who said he also wanted his own YouTube channel but wasn't allowed. Now, I thought their response to the news outlet was the only thing they were going to say about it, but then earlier today, JYP Entertainment came out again and said, first, we bow our heads in apology. They explained their process for putting things out on social media and where they may have failed on that. They addressed Jae's personal content situation and ended it by saying they are deeply aware of their errors and will take this as a lesson to pay more attention and communicate better. Through all of this, the question I had and the debate I see going around is how much is JYP the man responsible for this? Because yes, he does hold the most shares of the company, he's basically the face of it, but he is not the CEO. Another thing is that each group falls under a certain task force that's dedicated to them. How much blame does the task force take? If you remember, not too long ago, Jae himself shared a text message between him and JYP where he thanked him and you could see how much he looks up to him. So personally, I feel as though he wasn't calling out JYP, at least solely, he was calling out management. But I can totally see the other side of that argument that JYP the man seems to have his hands in a lot of the creative endeavors of the company, so he has to be at least partly responsible. Or maybe there's a reason why some artists decide to leave the company but seem to still have a good relationship with JYP himself. I don't know. In your eyes, if you want to take a stand for JYP artists, who do you direct the concerns to? I think it's an interesting question because recently we've also seen hashtag #BeFairToJimin where fans are expressing their concern that Jimin isn't given the proper credit for his work beyond just BTS. That he's not able to talk about his solo achievements or work because the only interview questions that are being approved by Big Hit are questions about threats made toward him and other uncomfortable topics. It's just interesting that in this particular case, it's mostly Big Hit the company that takes the brunt of it. Maybe rightly so, and not Bang Si-hyuk himself. Regarding Jimin though, we haven't seen Big Hit respond to this, so we'll just have to wait and see. For right now though, they're probably focused on the Japanese market with Stay Gold, which by the way, I said I would do a theory for in this video. And the more I watched it, the simpler the theory became. Because while many are speculating that it's a sequel to Fake Love, a conclusion to Spring Day, or even an homage to their beginnings in No More Dream, I think it's a combination of all of those. Rather than Stay Gold being the next installment in a linear narrative, I believe it references all the dark moments we've seen them go through up until this point in order to show us how they'll always be able to overcome them in the future. Together. And besides Stay Gold and How You Like That, the past week or so has been filled with so much greatness. Put this into perspective, only 2 albums on Billboard's World Albums chart this week are not by K-pop artists. Out of 15. We had AB6IX's awaited comeback. Unfortunately, this is the first one without their leader. SUNMI just came out with maybe my favorite of the recent releases, with a much brighter song than usual. It's so dreamy. I don't know how to explain it. Now, I would also love to talk about NiziU because their final lineup was officially announced by JYP Entertainment, and they even released a pre-debut music video, kind of like Treasured It with Going Crazy. But the thing is, I'm not completely caught up with all the episodes of NiziU and I'm trying not to spoil it for myself, but when I do, we're talking about them for sure because they're awesome. 17 song has been popping everywhere and their video with A-Pink's Naeun had the internet going crazy. Speaking of A-Pink, their company Playam Entertainment has finally debuted a new girl group called WEEEKLY with 3 E's. The crazy thing is that they were supposed to have their showcase earlier this week, but it was cancelled due to a fire that broke out in a nearby building. According to Playam, they canceled the showcase after an emergency evacuation. Luckily, it seems like nobody has been reported hurt. Just think about how many years of planning went into this group. Logos, name, song, music video, and especially this moment where they finally get to present WEEEKLY to the world, how much those girls probably practiced just for the debut day to come, and it gets ruined by a fire. I think this is a story they're going to tell for the rest of their careers, which, as we know, the idol celebrity life will always be filled with many ups and downs, and that's why I saved Hwasa's comeback to talk about last. Because I think her music video touches on things that in one way or another envelops everything and everyone we've talked about today, whether you're a fan of her or not. This is a song and album that she poured her heart into, and she literally displays that heart in the music video itself. It's this